Goku loved Gohan. Before Raditz showed up, we could see how happy Goku and Gohan were when they were together. Gohan got major upset when Goku was hurt, and in the anime, Gohan snapped against Vegeta when he laughed that Goku had died along with Frieza. Goku was a good man and a good father, and a role model to his son. And before the events of the Cell games, Goku told Gohan not to worry about training. Don't worry about training, go out and have fun, enjoy peaceful times before the Cell games. Do happy stuff, chill. He was not a pressurizing father, and in Dragon Ball Z, the Goku many of us grew up with enjoyed peace, as well as loving his friends and family. So why the hell did Goku quit and give Cell a senzu bean? This is very easy to answer. First of all, when Goku trained with Gohan in the time chamber, Goku noticed how strong his son was. Like, it shocked him so much that they left the time chamber early, and Goku was not in the slightest bit worried because compared to his power, Gohan's towered over it. You know, Goku, the guy who has fought tyrants and powerful beings all his life. The guy who was a goddamn veteran, a gauge in power. If he felt that Gohan's true power was enough, you better believe it, buddy, that it was enough. Which it was. I mean, did someone miss the Cell games? Anyway, back to Goku. He knew Gohan's power was enough, and he knew staying in the time chamber was just torture for his body more than training. You can only get so strong whilst being in there, and he said that to Trunks and Vegeta. Hence, when Vegeta and Trunks went in a second time, to be honest, the jump wasn't half as impactful as the first time they went in. But going into the Cell games, Goku had a plan, and that was to fight Cell first, to gauge his power, see how he fights, and for Gohan to understand how Cell operates. And you know something? When trying to win something as a whole, that is a pretty solid tactic. Why would anyone deny that being a smart move by Goku? He knew he wasn't strong enough. Continuing to fight and just dying would gain absolutely nothing. But the fact his forfeit worked and Cell played along meant that everything was going according to plan. Yes, to plan. Now this is the part where the fans are split in Goku's decision. Goku instructs Gohan to fight because he believes he can win. And if you think about it, when Gohan unlocks his hidden power and tries, he wins. It's a solid fact. As a Saiyan father, thinking with his fists, Goku is doing the right thing here, but as a human father, not so much. The things it takes to be a good human father, showing care, love and understanding to your child, the understanding part was kind of faded in Goku's mind here. And Goku's Saiyan brain as a father was taking over more than his caring human side he had picked up whilst living on Earth. And what does this mean? Well, he was thinking about combat, power, winning, rather than all the other important factors of Gohan such as motivations, lust for fighting, and in general him being a kid. This is where Piccolo made Goku realize that Goku is right when it comes to the power side of things, but when it comes to the motivation and everything else, it just didn't work for Gohan. It wasn't the right way to do it. And this was shown when Cell was beating up Gohan and nothing was happening. Now, a few label Goku as a bad father for this decision, and I can honestly see why. But when we look at it, despite it being a poor human father decision, we can't say he's a bad father through and through because of it. Look at it like this. Imagine Goku never knew Gohan had the power to beat Cell. That power never showcased itself. A bad father Goku would be him sending Gohan into battle knowing he can't win. That's a bad father. But the difference here is Goku knew Gohan could win. He would never have put Gohan in harm's way. He would never put Gohan in a circumstance where he knew Gohan couldn't win. He only did it because Goku believed and had confirmation in the Room of Spirit and Time that Gohan could win. That's why he wanted Gohan to fight. And that doesn't sound like a bad decision. Like I said, Goku would be a bad father full on if he knew Gohan couldn't win and told him to fight. That's not who Goku is. But yes, his fighting Saiyan brain was the driving factor to his decisions here. I don't think any caring human father would ever want their child to fight their battles for them, no matter if they had the strength to. It's just the protective nature of having children. But in the past, Goku always told Gohan to leave the battlefield, to not get involved in the Saiyan saga on Namek because he cared about him, and Goku fought the battles to protect him. But I think Goku knew Gohan's power was that goddamn high in the time chamber that he knew that was the winning ticket. That was the only hope of beating Cell, which is why he was so calm for those days before the Cell games. And for those who think Goku is a bad father, look at his face when Piccolo told him he made a mistake, because Gohan's just a kid. The disbelief in Goku's face made him realize he's been thinking with his fists rather than his heart, and he soon turned to Krillin for a senzu bean to fight again. That to me showed that Goku can see both sides and is able to show care. Sometimes he gets carried away with his Saiyan DNA, but what about Goku giving Cell the senzu bean part? Well, we know Cell was not even using his full power against Goku, and we know Cell was not even near death to receive any sort of Zenkai from the senzu bean. So there would be no real battle advantage in one-on-one that Cell would get. The reason why I believe Goku gave Cell a senzu bean was because he knew Gohan would still have the power to beat him. He was confident. If Gohan couldn't win, he wouldn't have done that. It was a show of sportsmanship as well. Think about it. The Cell games were still continuing. Goku gave up and Cell let him go. He didn't just go in for the kill on Goku and say, no, I'll kill you first before the next person comes in. The fact that Cell had that ambition to fight the next challenger and let Goku live was something Goku took serious, and Cell even taunted Goku to take a senzu bean, giving him a chance as well. There was some kind of honor in the one-on-one fighting, and it was Goku's way of life. Goku was always a fair guy, and combine that with him believing his son had the power kind of makes the senzu bean decision make a whole lot more sense. And we're not just talking about a small power gap between Goku and Gohan, guys. Gohan's true power was absolutely ridiculous compared to Goku at this point, to the point where even Goku felt everything was going to be okay. And he was right all along. Goku ultimately cares about Gohan being a scholar or scientist. In the anime, and I believe manga, he brings up that once Cell is defeated, he should go continue following his dreams. Goku knew deep down that Gohan also had the passion for defeating evil and protecting all that is good. So why would Goku not consider Gohan, with his far superior power, to be the one to end evil once and for all? But to end this video, Goku is a good father. Remember, he was the one who didn't want to hurt Gohan whilst training in the time chamber. It was actually Gohan who pushed Goku to train him harder. The Cell games have just begun and Goku battles Cell, and is at the breaking point where he's used up pretty much all of his power after the ferocious Ki barrage. Cell tells Goku that the next encounter will be their last, and as fans, we can take Cell's word for it because Goku wouldn't even fare against a Cell Jr. from here, and Cell would have highly likely murdered Goku in cold blood. But here is where the situation differs, and in order for us to discuss this very important moment in the Cell games where Goku and Gohan swap places, we would have to dive into the mentality of Goku of why he was going to swap with Gohan. And the mindsets of Goku is probably more important than the decision itself. Let's take a look. The question we really need to ask ourselves then is, would Goku even want Gohan to fight a damaged Cell in an unfair condition during this tournament? And I honestly don't believe he would want Gohan, a fighter stronger than himself, to face an enemy who is severely weakened. This mentality changes everything. If Goku didn't give Cell a senzu bean once he forfeited, then Goku's forfeit would have an entirely different meaning. And let me explain that. Originally, Goku forfeited for Gohan to step up and take his place because he believed he was the only one who could do it. And Goku is a fair fighter. He believes in fairness, no matter the enemy, and believes so much in Gohan that he could defeat Cell on an even playing field. If Goku forfeited and didn't plan to give Cell a senzu bean in any way, then that would imply a desperation in trying to defeat Cell at any cost. A side of Goku we didn't see at that time. And that would have been out of desperation because he could not beat Cell on his own. So a reason I see Goku not giving Cell a senzu bean would be due to his realization that Cell is indeed very dangerous and cannot be given any sort of chances. Why would Goku want to die when he's got a minute to think, hey, I can't beat this guy fair game with all of my power, and this is meant to be a tournament, right? There's other guys up there. Even with Vegeta's epic speech to Trunks saying Kakarot should fight to the death, this I believe to be untrue, so what? Because Vegeta sees the tournament as a war, a battle of life and death, but Goku has seen it as a tournament from the get-go. Of course it started to become serious, but I feel in Goku's mind that he knows if he engaged Cell one more time, Cell wouldn't stop and would indeed kill him. So by forfeiting, Goku would indeed take the big loss and realize he's no match. But the question is, in this situation, Goku will not be thinking of giving Cell a senzu bean to recharge him. That the other option would be for someone to now kill Cell off in his weakened condition. And this totally goes against Goku as a character if we think about it. For Goku to wear someone down only to sit on the sidelines for someone to kill Cell off after all of Goku's hard work, it just doesn't seem like the Goku thing to do. In fact, I would even go to the point that Goku would feel sorry for Cell because he would be at such a disadvantage in a one-on-one battle, no matter of his crimes. And fighting is what Goku's way of life is. It's his lifelong interest as an honorable martial artist. But if Goku realized at this point in forfeiting that it's time to kill Cell, would he have selected Gohan for this fight? Or would he leave it up to Vegeta and Trunks to try their hand at mopping the floor with the weakened Cell? Goku wouldn't be seeing this as a tournament anymore. Goku would see it more as saving the Earth. And I feel there are a number of options here. But let's first talk about who Goku would swap with. Let us focus on Gohan first. And I feel that Goku had always felt that Gohan's power was above his own, and would still give Gohan the same pep talk as he did normally, and the story would continue normal right up until Gohan steps onto the battlefield. But it would be at this point in the battle that Goku sees the fight as not a tournament, or not to demonstrate his son's power, but he would see it as Gohan going to finish Cell off once and for all because he himself couldn't. And this would be more of a tactical Goku, and it would be a pretty good tactic for himself to wear Cell down, only for Gohan to study Cell and finish him off. And I feel at this point, he would have the Z-Fighters' full support of this plan. They know how strong Gohan is. They know Goku just wore Cell down on purpose. It really wasn't until he threw Cell the Senzu Bean that everyone started to think Goku was insane. But by Goku not giving Cell the Senzu Bean, it leaves Gohan to clean up the weakened Cell. Based on the sources out there saying that Super Saiyan Gohan was stronger than Super Saiyan Goku, then having Cell continue a battle with someone stronger than the guy he just fought, who is now fully recovered, is where Cell starts to sweat. Seeing Gohan power up with all of that Super Saiyan power makes Cell feel very uncomfortable. But I feel Cell would still try to show off his arrogance and try to stay in a cool nature. And in doing so, a somewhat exhausted Cell would attack and have difficulty trying to hurt Gohan. This would allow Gohan to warm up into the fight at an even better pace, and really see Cell at a disadvantage in terms of power. Because I feel at this point, Gohan's power alone would never leave him feeling defenseless or being squeezed to death by Cell. Cell would be pretty weakened at this stage, and Gohan could probably wear Cell down even more in battle in his Super Saiyan 1 form. And even if Cell tried to tap into some of that sleeping power he showed off against Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the original story, I just feel that Cell's weakened condition wouldn't allow him to sustain that great power for long, and eventually it would burn him out faster, due to Gohan being very fresh. But the only problem here is Gohan's instinct to kill. In Gohan's Super Saiyan 1 form, I find it very hard to believe that even if Gohan slowly wore Cell down, even to the point where Cell can't even stand, that Gohan would indeed struggle to deal the finishing blow, and this would ultimately lead to one of two ultimate outcomes. Outcome 1, a repeat of Planet Namek where Vegeta jumps in and kills the Ginyu Force after they've been defeated, or potentially Piccolo and Trunks jumping in right at the very end, look down on the absolutely drained perfect Cell, and formulate a finishing death blast to wipe Cell's weakened body from existence. Would they have enough power to do this? Well, if the circumstances were right, and Gohan did indeed wear Cell down to the absolute lowest, Cell would have no defense. He's not immortal, and someone like Vegeta or Trunks, no more messing around, could indeed amplify their power big enough to wipe Cell forever at this point, killing him outright. I don't see Goku being the one to do this, but they would have to do it very quickly because otherwise it leads to outcome 2. And that is a repeat of the Cell self-destruct mechanism, or even a replica of Frieza wiping the Earth in Dragon Ball Super, all through desperation. Cell can survive the vacuum of space, remember, and a desperate Cell would do this. And the reason I say that is because of Cell's mentality. Cell is arrogant, yes. He has the cells of Frieza and Vegeta. He loves to test his power and see what he can do. But we've seen the moment Cell is cornered and cannot win in any situation, he resorts to desperate tactics. Against Vegeta, he begged Super Vegeta to help absorb 18. Cell was out of options, and in the original story, when Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was smashing Cell to bits, Cell resorted to becoming a giant bomb to wipe out the planet. And with that mentality of Cell in mind, underneath the cocky surface, we must really take that into consideration in this what if. If Cell is on the edge of defeat, once and for all, there's no stopping Cell becoming a bomb once again. Outcome 2 seems more likely because I don't think Cell would ever let himself get to the point where he is so weak he is about to die. Cell is cunning and shifty, and would know he is about to lose, so would make his move ahead of time. Which is why Goku giving Cell a senzu bean originally kind of prevented Cell from being desperate at that time. But if outcome 1 happened, the Cell games would be over, Goku would live, everyone lives, and that leads to another what if for another day of what if Goku survived the Cell games. But in that situation, there would be no Super Saiyan 2 Gohan at the end of the Cell games. But if outcome 2 happened, the Cell self-destruction, then this is where things get very dark. Because I feel Goku would have stepped in and indeed used his tactic to instant transmission Cell away to King Kai's planet anyway. And with that happening, the likelihood of events would mean Cell returning, killing Trunks, Vegeta goes on a rampage, but this time, Gohan would not have the power of Super Saiyan 2 to be able to save Vegeta from certain death. This leaves a new super perfect Cell ultimately in full control of the battle, and let's talk about Android 16 for a moment. there would have been no circumstance for him to jump in and try and save Gohan or blow up to kill Cell, because Cell would have indeed been weakened and losing the fight with Super Saiyan Gohan if Goku didn't give Cell the senzu bean. But he may be the one to try and help deal the finishing blow to Cell in Outcome 1. But in this situation with Outcome 2, with Super Perfect Cell winning, 16 may try a futile attempt at sneaking up and self-destructing on Cell, only for that to lead to an imminent death. I just don't see this Android 16 interference leading to Gohan becoming a Super Saiyan 2 at this point. The whole 16's head thing with Mr. Satan throwing it was peach perfect timing in the original story, and if Super Perfect Cell killed 16 at this point, there would be no head left at all from 16 after a blast from Super Perfect Cell, let's be honest. There would be no epic speech to Gohan, no emotional talk or trigger for Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and even if 16 didn't try and blow himself up, at this point, 16's speech wouldn't make a difference because he's not on death's door. Goku's instant transmission and death would not trigger Gohan to be a Super Saiyan 2 here. Gohan would be more depressed and emotionally defeated from the loss, more than being emotionally raging. And I feel in this circumstance that Goku not giving Cell a senzu bean would lead to this Outcome 2 being more probable than Outcome 1. And that is the end result. Super Perfect Cell wins and kills everybody. But even if we don't see our boy Gohan reaching Super Saiyan 2 in both Outcome 1 or Outcome 2, that's not to say a Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan Grade 5 wouldn't surface in the Cell games, because there's a secret Outcome 3 that could happen, just not with Gohan. Because now, I'm going to set up the scene where Goku swaps with the likes of Vegeta or Trunks first. And the reason I say that is based on the fact that Goku would now be trying to kill Cell off once and for all with the Z Fighters. And I feel even if Vegeta or Trunks stepped up to fight Cell, based on what we can see Cell do, and how much stored power he had deep down, that Cell would indeed triumph over Vegeta and Trunks individually. But I don't think it would be a cakewalk for Cell at that point. First of all, I don't feel Vegeta or Trunks, with all of their power in the right circumstances, could kill Cell off in Cell's weakened condition after Goku's battle. I believe Cell would still have enough power to beat Vegeta and Trunks. That's just my opinion. It's not like Cell would stand still anymore to take Vegeta's final flash. Cell would realize he's weakening and would resort to desperate tactics to finish Vegeta and Trunks off in succession quickly. I'm saying Vegeta would fight first before Trunks because it makes more sense. It's more fitting for Vegeta to fight next, because it's Vegeta, and I think Vegeta would put up somewhat of a decent fight, but eventually Cell's power would prove too much for Vegeta, even in his weakened condition. Now, let's say Cell does indeed go for the kill on Vegeta, because Vegeta is not the one to forfeit due to his Saiyan pride. Then the death of Vegeta might have an incredible effect on future Trunks' emotions, and with Trunks yet to step into the fight, seeing his father die before his eyes could lead to a traumatic experience, forcing future Trunks into the next plane of power. We know the full potential of Trunks, we have seen it in Dragon Ball Super, and both Trunks and Gohan are half Saiyans. So what can work for Gohan can sure as hell work for Trunks. And in this situation right here, with the death of Vegeta, I feel Trunks may indeed hit Super Saiyan Grade 5 or Super Saiyan 2. And if that happens, I feel future Trunks, with all of his new rage, training and life experiences, would be the most likely to kill Cell off. Let's think about this for a second. We saw how easy Super Saiyan 2 Gohan smashed Cell in their first encounter, and this was when Cell had fully recovered with a senzu bean. But with Cell in a drastically weakened condition, and after fighting Vegeta as well, to face a fresh future Trunks with power in the realms of Super Saiyan 2 would mean a certain death for Cell. Even if Super Saiyan 2 future Trunks wouldn't be as strong as Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, Cell's weakened condition is the big disadvantage here, to face any Super Saiyan 2. And why would I suspect this? Well, seeing how quickly future Trunks tore up Androids 17 and 18 and Imperfect Cell in the future, was crystal clear on how Trunks does not mess around when he has the power to protect Earth. And in this circumstance, with Perfect Cell being drained after his fight with Goku and a little bit more with Vegeta, only to then kill Vegeta, would mean a Super Saiyan 2 future Trunks would utterly wreck this weakened Cell and blast him so hard with his power that Cell wouldn't know what the fuck happened. No regeneration, no nothing. Trunks would not cave into the power like Gohan did, letting Cell suffer more. Future Trunks is desperate for peace. He's desperate to kill Cell, and he has the power and rage to get it done. Super Saiyan 2 Future Trunks wins in Outcome 3. Future Trunks saves the future and the past, and that's a story I could live with. And just to bottle this one out, if Trunks did indeed fight first before Vegeta, and Cell was the one to kill Trunks, then I don't feel Vegeta would have ascended to a Super Saiyan 2 because we saw Vegeta's rage when Trunks died anyway in the Cell games. But I do think Vegeta's new rage attacking a weakened Cell would force Cell's hand into becoming a self-destruction bomb more quickly. Because Vegeta would have been on a rampage and Cell would have been very drained to protect himself. So it could lead to another outcome too, before even Gohan gets a shot. And of course we have the whole senzu beans at their disposal, but even if all of the fighters were constantly taking senzu beans to fight Cell, it could all still lead to outcome 2 where Cell goes to blow up anyway. So it was very critical and important for any of these outcomes to have a Super Saiyan 2 on the side of good, so that they could stand a chance against a super perfect Cell upon his return. But I don't think it would have gotten to a point where a beam struggle between Super Perfect Cell and Super Saiyan 2 Trunks would have happened. I feel Trunks would have killed Cell before anything would have happened further. So overall, by Goku not giving Cell a senzu bean, it could lead to 3 outcomes, where 2 of them are positive and 1 of them is negative. So many twists and turns. Goku, my man, it's better for you to just give Cell that senzu bean and let us have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan back in the game. When it comes to power scaling and drama in Dragon Ball, they don't always go hand in hand, let's be honest. But one scenario I want to analyze here today with you may actually have an inverse answer to it. And that moment in Dragon Ball Z is when Goku died after Cell exploded on King Kai's planet. Now you may be thinking this is about teleportation, where Goku couldn't teleport away in time because the whole point of the explosion was meant to happen instantaneously the moment he arrived on King Kai's planet. But I'm not talking about the instant transmission confusion, because it's pretty obvious applying feats of speed in that situation for Goku to teleport back to Earth would have taken away from the entire story, plot and drama. Even though it is kind of stupid why he couldn't do that but managed to give a few lines of dialogue to Gohan and King Kai during the most valuable moments of his life. It's pretty stupid because on paper, Goku should have been able to move away from that explosion in the seconds he was wasting talking. But again, that would take away from the drama of the scene. It was meant to be an instantaneous detonation. I'm sure you can all think of a time in Dragon Ball where characters could do something very quickly despite certain scenes being drawn out for storytelling purposes. But let's get back to the main reason why I'm making this video. I'm talking about Goku's fully healed, mastered Super Saiyan power, or Super Saiyan Grade 4, why Goku couldn't simply endure the damage of Semi-Perfect Cell's explosion. Not Super Perfect Cell, not Perfect Cell, but Semi-Perfect Cell. The guy who was held down by the role model Tien. Maximum respect to Tien for that, but you get the idea here. Goku's Super Saiyan Grade 4 full power in the Cell games was written to be drastically above the role model and every other hero except Gohan and Hercule. But how can that power that took on Perfect Cell not endure the best that Semi-Perfect Cell has to offer? Firstly, if we are to assume characters exploding would be their strongest attack, then Semi-Cell killing Goku would be the perfect example of this. Obviously, Vegeta and Majin Buu is different because Vegeta's attack was not an actual self-destruct like Cell's, but rather a concentrated high dose of Super Saiyan 2 power that consumed him and everything in the range of the explosion of Ki. Vegeta never wanted to destroy the Earth, even though he obviously could. Doing what he did against Buu actually takes skill to ensure he's only taking Buu away and not the full Earth. But even that type of attack, a sacrifice so to speak, takes attack levels way above the normal range. The only reason Buu survived was because of the regeneration, not that he could tank it. Remember, Buu was blown away, but Buu can form from the smoke from his own pieces. You can't just simply blast each piece away individually because it converts to gas in the cloud above the destroyed pieces. Luckily, the spirit energy from the Genki Dama was able to fully consume the entirety of Buu's existence. But either way, it's clear that from sacrificing yourself, you're using up all of your life force to amp your attacks, which is interesting when you consider Moro exploding in Dragon Ball Super. If an explosion is meant to be the pinnacle of your power at the cost of your life, then why was it only threatening the galaxy? Contradiction, or just a simple downgrade of power from Battle of Gods? Or maybe Toyotaro and Toriyama don't really care. You tell me. Let's go back to Semi-Perfect Cell's power. The difference between that Cell and Goku at that point would be even greater than, let's say, Krillin versus Semi-Perfect Cell. The gap of the Grade 4 Super Saiyan to Super Vegeta was large enough. Then you have to consider the gap between Super Vegeta and Semi-Perfect Cell. It's huge, even before Vegeta went into the time chamber a second time. You would think Goku, just by standing there, could literally tank Semi-Perfect Cell's highest level of attack, or even if not fully tank it, at least block it, put up an aura barrier, charge up, or even take some damage. But death by vaporization, or simply death by impact, it just doesn't sit right with me and never have. But one of the reasons that come to mind is that Goku was massively suppressed because he was out of battle, which, if true, would make Goku's decision to sacrifice himself even more stupid if he could have actually endured Semi-Perfect Cell's explosion when powered up, or raising his game just before teleporting. Let's dive into this reason if Goku wanted to die, so just took the explosion on purpose. This one is a misconception. He never wanted to die, and he never intended to die throughout the Cell Saga. This was only a decision he made after death, to stay dead. The realization was after Cell's defeat. It's even in Goku's expression and dialogue. Before he teleported, he had to make a very difficult choice. He didn't want to do it. Teleportation was the only thing he could have done at that point, and he was in pain making that decision. We know Krillin threw a stone at Goku and it hurt him, even as a Super Saiyan. So suppression was happening way before Dragon Ball Super, to that extent, to make these guys vulnerable. That could be a reason, as weird as it is, because he had just come out of a battle with Cell and the Cell Juniors, and in the anime he took a senzu bean, so his power should not only have gotten stronger through Zenkai and battle prowess, but Goku's body should have been ready for war at that point he teleported. Perhaps the faith in Gohan really did make Goku relax and drop his power right back down to that suppressed state. Which brings me to the manga and the senzu bean. Gohan tells Trunks to give the senzu to everyone, and we expect that to happen, right? Well, in the manga, we never actually see Goku eating a senzu bean. We only see Trunks giving the bean to a few of the others. Call me crazy here, but if Goku never took that senzu bean in the manga after his battle with Cell, and then the further ass whooping he got from the Cell Juniors, wouldn't that make Goku's body pretty damn vulnerable to an incoming explosion from Semi-Perfect Cell? Let's be honest here, Goku could barely stand up before. Yes, he was still in Super Saiyan, but he had trained to make that his base form through Tranquility. Power-wise though, he was toast. And that could be the reason why he couldn't actually survive the explosion, because he was actually just too weakened. But he managed to teleport, right? Maybe he only had enough power left to teleport once. Perhaps he didn't take the senzu bean because Gohan was in control of the battle with Cell, and by the time 18 got spat out and Cell went to blow up, there were too many shock factors to get distracted by, so Goku may not have gotten around to taking the senzu. Because on paper, he should have been able to survive that explosion unscathed if he was at full power. It's like, can you imagine Tien with all of his might? He was able to hold back Cell, but there's no way in hell an explosion from Tien would have taken down Semi-Perfect Cell. He would laugh it off. I mean, even Chaozu didn't do anything to Nappa, and that was a point-blank detonation. Think about it. Chaozu officially had a power level of 610, Nappa had a power level of 4000, Nappa is 6.5 times stronger than Chaozu, and that means a point-blank detonation technique couldn't even match a 6.5 times multiplier of damage to even hurt Nappa, let alone kill him. Vegeta's sacrifice against Buu, that would mean his energy had to reach at least a 4 times multiplier to hurt Buu, who was close to Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So you can see what the amps of these explosions are roughly, potentially no more than a 5 times increase of their actual power. But if that's the case, how could Semi-Perfect Cell times 5 vaporize a mastered Super Saiyan Goku who is potentially 100 times Semi-Perfect Cell at this point? Well, Cell's explosion is probably the most ridiculous increase for an explosion multiplier in Dragon Ball history. Yes, it was even going to kill Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I'm surprised this explosion wasn't going to wipe out the solar system, to be honest. Semi-Perfect Cell's explosion could have been just too damn strong to handle. An explosion multiplier beyond anything seen previous. This is Dr. Gero's creation after all, and the technology put inside Android 16 had enough explosive power to scare the living crap out of Perfect Cell, and 16 believed he could do it with that power. So yeah, maybe this Android tech, as well as Cell's capabilities from the supercomputer, were way more advanced in terms of their trump card explosions. The Red Ribbon Army is a destructive faction, by the way, so this works perfectly for them. But whatever the reason, taking fodder at this stage like Semi-Perfect Cell and making Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's power feel helpless, what a jump in power. If explosions are that useful, did no one even think of taking out these villains just by blowing themselves up and then getting wished back with the Dragon Balls? At least Chaozu tried, guys. I'll give him that. But the plot can't simply be destroyed like that, I'm afraid. Drama versus power scaling, the most mismatched couple in Dragon Ball history. Another example of a situation of this is during Resurrection F, where a Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta died at a weakened Frieza's planet-busting attack. Apparently, Frieza got the kill on Vegeta at that point, so I'm not sure what the hell happened there unless blowing up a planet so Vegeta dies in space within the next minute counts as Frieza's kill. Not sure why Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta couldn't just hold his breath for a minute and fly over to Whis inside of his comfy barrier, but there we go. The truth is, that blast shouldn't be killing Vegeta directly, but semi-perfect cells did kill Goku directly, and we can't use the oxygen excuse there at King Kai's planet because Goku can survive being there in the whole area, Snake Way, and the other world in general, even if he's alive. Or perhaps you think Goku's death was something far more technical. Perhaps the type of attack an explosion is far too big and harder to block because it engulfs an entire planet's circumference and is filled with one's life force, spirit energy, rather than just their regular projected ki attacks. But still, couldn't Goku or even Gohan launch their biggest Kamehameha and have that energy consume Cell's body and explosive energy before it even escapes? That's how energy versus energy works, right? The strongest energy eats the weaker one. Hell, even Vegeta's final flash at this point. Wouldn't that energy be way stronger than Cell's explosive energy and thus negate it from escaping Cell's body and instead project it along with Cell into space inside the final flash or Kamehameha, or even simply get vaporized into nothing, breaking down the explosion energy, just like Super Perfect Cell and his own solar system busting Kamehameha? Or that could have been out of the question because even Cell said the moment he's attacked, he'll explode instantly, and instantly should mean instantly. So touching him for a teleportation is fine because it's very, very light, but ki attacks, damage, might pop him like a balloon where it's too late to consume the energy escaping. Though I do feel if Goku didn't decide to teleport, Gohan or anyone would have launched a last ditch effort blast to see if it could stop Cell. And I guess they would have got their answer then, but we'll never know if it would work. Unless Cell was bluffing, I mean, he was going to blow up either way, as that was his motive. Why would he try to make Gohan hesitate in attacking? Cell is a trickster, so he could have been lying, or he could have been having one last laugh to get that look of fear in their face. He loves that stuff, right? You know, the Z Fighters theoretically could have created an energy barrier around Cell working together that would have contained the blast. Credit to Chi-Chi for that one. It does beg the question, how much effort do fighters in Dragon Ball actually put into their fights in terms of power usage, if they can instantly amp their power by this much through a self-destruct? Wouldn't it be funny if they considered, what if I just sacrifice 90% of my life force, not the 100%, not kill myself? That 90% would still be pretty lethal to vaporize the enemy. What's an extra 10% at this point? At least I might live. We just know they concentrate their power for the battle only and not against the environment. It's like an unspoken rule of combat where two people want to fight. That is why when Cell went to blow up and Kid Buu destroyed the Earth instantly and Frieza cheap shot at the planet in defeat, they were all shocking because those three broke the honor of battle. They didn't care at all, which says a lot about villains that don't do that. They really just want a good fight. They enjoy it and don't always want to destroy the world, which they could do in a microsecond if they wanted to, let's be honest. But to end this video, why Goku couldn't survive Cell's explosion, inverse, if I had to make a safe guess, was that the explosion multiplier for Cell was somehow too overpowered at this point, at point blank, to stop. Either from the type of being Cell was, or the fact life force converted to lethal energy is insane, like Tien's Tri-Beam, but more on a destructive scale. Same reason Yamcha couldn't survive a Cyberman despite being physically stronger than it. It could also be the reason that Cell's body would explode before any attacks would work on him. Or it could be the possibility that Goku never took a senzu bean in the manga version, so was still very weakened. In the anime, yeah, he took it, and Goku also had plenty of time to do whatever he pleased. They changed things up in the anime, but ultimately, the correct answer is the cheapest one, because that's the story that the writer wanted to tell. Goku sacrificing himself. And it all worked out in Dragon Ball Z anyway. Let me know what you think about this moment in Dragon Ball Z and this video. I'll read your comments below. And if you could hit that like button before you leave, I would appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again, keep being a role model.